Imagine you were trapped in a reality that you wish was a dream. Imagine that you had to fight a war where the enemy is not human, no animal, but shadows. Imagine that you needed to get weapons, armor, and snacks, save humans, and fight the demons before all civilization collapses. Well, that's what happened to me, but way worse. This is what I used to see when I thought of wars. Get your head in the game, soldier. Bar. Hey, whip him again. That's what happens in DD's freak-offs, bruh. Yep, just a bunch of jocks, blood and buzzcuts. The two jocks are the real enemies in that war. I'd expect this from a place like Spag Union, but now that I thought about it, I realized that a military academy would do this type of torture as well. Well, I didn't think of it that way. But later I realized they were trying to help people help them. Ever since that incident, I've had a whole lot of time to think. How can I change my life? Months later, I decided that I needed to change everything about myself so I don't get in that Spag Union incident ever again. I took some major changes in my life, physically, mentally, and how everybody else sees me, but it will be too long to list, so I'll give you the filtered version of it. Now, let's be real for about 5 seconds. How can I change my life? Honestly sounds like a very stupid question for Greg Heffley, but I will never hear myself say that again, because I joined the football team. Greg. Yeah, those are my teammates. He basically made it a team tradition to lift me into the air whenever I won our team a game. Sure, they often dropped me, and sure it was 95% of the time on my head, but it was still a nice form of appreciation. The crazy thing is, it wasn't always like this. There was a time that my teammates didn't like me. The reason I went for football was because I tried soccer and swimming, and I don't have any of the skills that a baseball, basketball, or lacrosse player needs. Plus, I figured I might be able to get the cheerleaders to like me. Greg, woo! Damn, this guy is jacked. But my coach was pretty disappointed that a wimp like me had just joined the football team. No. This has got to be wrong somewhere. Damn, what's this deal? But I was very good at playing football, and the more that I played, the more popular I got. So now I bet he's regretting even thinking about getting rid of me. At home, it's a lot more empty nowadays because Roderick decided to leave home when he hit 18. Guys, I'm leaving. I don't even know where I'm going. But yeah, I'm going on an adventure. Nobody actually believed him. Well, when we saw a gigantic suitcase and the fridge raided, we knew that it was true. My dad was really happy that Roderick finally left, and while he tried to hide his happiness and pretend that he was upset, it was pretty obvious that he was lying. Hey guys, function at my house. My son Roderick out here, bro. Everybody partying till dawn, till shutdown. We all partying. So it's been getting a little more annoying at the same time. Thursday. Tomorrow, we're supposed to play another team from the Pennsylvania Public High School. I'm honestly kind of worried because they played like savages last year. But yesterday, they announced that Johnston, their best player, broke their arm a week ago and can't play the game this month. That was good because a few of my team members were looking forward to not ending up in the infirmary, and they gave me just enough time to edit the posters. Our team has been preparing for this game since last month. We might actually be able to pull off a win this year. I started to build up the new posters with Rowley. Oh, yeah, me and Rowley are still friends, but we don't hang out as much. And he's still the doofus he's always been. I told him this morning that he can wear short sleeves, but he said it was February and that he wasn't taking any chances. When we finished, Riley did the weirdest thing. Greg, run! When I looked at what he was running from, I wish I hadn't. I was in no rush to catch up with Rowley because I was not going to stick around to see what the thing was going to do. I went straight through the woods to escape because I thought that if I abandoned Rowley, the monster might eat him instead. I did not think that I ever would run that fast in my entire life. This guy's moving like Sonic. I ran through the back door to avoid being seen, but I saw something even more. I think that's supposed to say, but I saw something even more horrific in the garden. What the? I was being surrounded by a group of giant hands. I actually jumped over each pile one by one until I made it into the house. I thought that it was over after I locked and barricaded the door, but it turns out that on the news, it said that all over Plainview there were random disappearances of innocent civilians after run-ins with the strange things that were popping up today. Over half of them being minors and five of them being my age. One of them was Rowley. Wait, how did they report Riley going missing so quickly when he just ran away with him? I couldn't believe my eyes. If you have any sort of relation to this teenager, please contact 555-7835. I was ticked off that for some reason they used the same photo from the school yearbook 4 years ago. But that wasn't important. What was important was that Rowley was gone. If I had just stuck with Rowley, maybe this wouldn't have happened. I wanted to see who the other four people were, but it was getting late, and I knew that my parents would make me go to bed anyways. I really just couldn't sleep without thinking that Rowley might actually be dead. Saturday, my alarm clock woke me up at 6 a.m. Huh? I immediately saw that it was still pitch black outside, so I knew something was wrong. There was a note in my drawer, so I started with that. Dear Gregory, if you're reading this, it means that you just woke up and are alone in the house. That is because we woke up to another Amber Alert in Plainview and decided that we just weren't safe in the house. So your father and I took money and we went to your grandfather's house. You, however, are old enough to take care of yourself. Love, Mom. I said they just abandoned him like that. I was honestly glad that he left without me because I did not want to hear Manu tell more of his jokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then Clive. Uh-oh, that's giving me flashbacks. Now, back to the darkness outside. I decided to open the door and see what was out there. And what was out there was chaos. Fire burning up the grass, dust everywhere in the air, monsters coming from every corner. I knew that I should go back inside, but I heard screaming, so I had two options. Close the door immediately or answer that call. The call of adventure. I slowly walked around, trying to stay as quiet as possible. As the call was getting louder, I started going faster. It was Rowley. Huh? Greg? Rowley was alive. That was a relief. He wasn't looking too good, so I went up to him. Rowley, what happened? I was running from those weird things, and I went onto this rock to hide. How predictable, Rowley. Rowley also said that his left arm was paralyzed, and that he can only move his pinky finger. I just told him that really sucked and helped him up. I kept going in the same direction that I went in to find Rowley, because when you're trying to stay hidden from mythical creatures with superpowers and trying to protect your best friend who's paralyzed from the left elbow to the fingers, then you basically have nowhere else to go. Eventually, we came up to a building, so we went inside as fast as possible. We didn't know that those monsters would be inside. I didn't want to go back outside, so I grabbed Rowley and ran up the stairs, locking doors as I went up. We then reached the top floor, locked and barricaded it. It was full of stuff, so we decided to see what we could get from it. Greg, there's a suitcase full of money here. Rowley, you can't just go stealing money like that. Huh? Dang. It looks like something from Pixel Gun 3D. I've never ever seen a gun like this in my life, but I don't actually know how to use one, so I decided to wing it. Whoa, this thing really packs a punch. The good news was that the single bullet killed half of the monsters in the stairway. The bad news is that the stairway was blown to bits in the process. When I told Rowley, he overreacted. I'm jumping out the window. Rowley, let's not do something that we will definitely regret. Your left arm's already paralyzed. You don't want to be paralyzed from the waist down. I told him never to jump out the window unless it was truly the last resort. He had gotten a hot head start though, and by the time he had reached the window, I was basically just getting started. Rowley had actually stepped out of the window without any means of cushioning himself. He just got very lucky, and there was a fire escape there. I'm okay. Ugh. He told me to go through the window too, but I said that I was going to get a few things. And by a few, I mean that I took whatever I could from the room and stuffed it inside a backpack that was also in the room. That's when the monsters came.